Hello everybody. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use MSI Afterburner with Hardware Info 64 and also use the graph settings for Hardware 64. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to start Hardware 64. See it right there. I'm going to use the sensor only option and I'm going to hit run. Now I'm going to just, don't close that out for now. I'm going to go ahead and click on the, show it to you a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and click on this little gear thing here for configure sensors, and that's going to bring up this screen here. Give me a second here. Do that again. Now, I'm going to show you this because this is very important. Global is set to 5,000 milliseconds, and when you do that, you hit set and you hit OK when you're fully done. But I'm also bring up MSI Afterburners properties. I'll bring that on the screen here so you can see a few things. Now, one thing I see here is that you want to make sure you unlock voltage monitoring. And for fan, you set your fan profile. For me, I set it to 4,000 for the fan speed update period. I need a couple seconds. The reason why I do that, or any polling that I like to do, is because I don't need 1 second, 2 second, 3 second polling for temperature and voltage. I mean, I know what it is. I have an idea. I don't have a problem with it. I just need to glance up at the screen and see what it is every once in a while. So if I'm gaming, I'm just using 4 to 7 seconds to do the polling rate. I'm going to go ahead to monitoring here, and the hardware polling period is 5,000. As you see here, I have this for Hardware Info 64 sensor settings set at 5,000. When you do that, you want to hit the set button or else it won't save. Now, that's basically it for MSI Afterburner for now. Let's go ahead on to OSD RTSS and see how we configure things. Now, this is going to be for the video card. I'll start with the video card and work my way up because this is kind of work its way up from the bottom kind of thing, especially if you start with the video card. Now, I have GPU, VDDC, and MVDD temperature and voltage that I want to see while gaming. The reason why for that is because there's more than to monitoring your video card than just the GPU itself. You want to also look at the MVDD and VDDC temperatures on the card. For some of you, you'll have additional temperature and voltage information made available to you based on the card that you have, be it AMD or NVIDIA. You want to enable those. But I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, for this one, I have this at line 1. This creates a new line below MSI Afterburner. So even though it says line 1, it could be line 10 or line 8 based on how many lines you have in MSI Afterburner. But be that as it may, this is line 1. And this is line 2. Now, if you notice the columns, these are columns set to 2 because I'm adding them along with the voltage for VDDC and VDDC. So even though this says this is going to be line 1, column 1, the temperature is going to be line 1, column 2. Same thing with MVDDC. Line 2, column 1, and then you go here. Line 2, column 2. Now for that, if you notice, I did not enable show label in OSD. Only did that for the voltage here and here. But if you notice, I don't have a graph here. I don't need it. I need a numerical value. I don't need a graph for that. Just want a graph for the temperature. So what I did was I checked the graph for the temperature. Now here is how I set it to 250 for width, 50 for height, 0 for margin, and y-axis minimum 10, y-axis maximum 60. This helps create the valleys and peaks as a line graph goes across the screen. This is all through trial and error. I spent some time trying to figure that out. I repeated this setting for everything I wanted to show as a graph using Hardware Info 64. Let's go back up. There's only things I've checked because everything else is basically available in MSI Afterburner. You don't want to duplicate sensors monitoring that you use for MSI Afterburner. That could cause some instability problems and can cause your game to crash. So only use the ones that you know are only being used once. Now let's go back up, going up here. And that's basically it in a nutshell. For example, I turned on the RAM sticks temperatures. I have that capability for my dominators. So I just turn them on. As you can see here, they're lines 3 and 4. Column 1, and I only use the graph for that. I show label in OSD and show value in OSD. And as you can see, I just simply copy and paste the show graph input so that it will show the same thing. And, anything else you want to show. Basically, for me, that's basically it in a nutshell. Anything else you want to use it for, you can. But I just want to give you a quick breakdown on how to do this, be able to see it in game. So in a moment here, I'm start the game up and we'll take a look at it from there. And that way you get an idea of what's going on. Okay, here's an example of what it looks like on screen here. As you can see, you can tell where MSI Afterburner stops, which is frame time, and then it starts up with GPU memory, voltage MV, EDC, and also GPU voltage VDDC. So you can see where it starts and stops. Can't figure out how to get that line graph to go to further left. Perhaps somebody out there can give me instructions on how to do it, but at least you got everything in a graph format if you so want, and you want to use something other than numerical values. So here you go. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.